Yeah, small indie company things.
Yeah,
Billions of dollars.
billions of dollars after profits. Well, after expenses, I
But
mean.
yeah, but we hopefully will start off week 2 quite strong. At least with this match, as the other match will, have to go unseen due to technical difficulties. They're not difficulties, but it is technical. But we are seeing interesting bands. I'm pretty sure they scattered out one side, but not the other. But I don't know that much about the Big Hero side.
The Big Hero is in fact not playing.
Oh, this is LP Island. I forgot.
LP Island versus Wumbologist on the blue side and LP Island on the red side. So,
you see, my brain had to slightly hit the fart whoopee cushion there, just for humor.
The fart whoopee cushion, huh? Okay.
The farting whoopee cushion.
This is why we have you around, because you make me sound smart. Okay,
exactly.
Remember, that was mean. That was mean. I shouldn't have said that.
Yeah. But remember, people, if you want to hire me to make you sound smart, it'll be $5 an hour.
We never agreed to this.
Exactly. Exactly. This is why it's for free.
Okay, perfect. Even better.
Other people will need $5 an hour.
Oh.
I've already signed the couch contract. I can't unsign it. I can't recollect my blood pact.
Yeah.
I have made.
That's what happened. The broadcast staff surrounded you on the couch, and the rest is history from there.
But we are seeing, for the first time, one side actually getting a moo this time, interestingly enough, for Team Wumbo. From what we know for week 1, it was banned every single game with them, so they didn't get a chance to use it yet. So this should prove to be quite interesting, because as we know this season, Amumu is really strong to some degree, while Sejuani does also take the same benefits. As we see what will probably be a Ashe support, which is devastating when done right, with a Vayne ADC, who's also quite powerful and very anti-tank this season. That she can get a lot of hits off, as well as Jhin being on the other team side, which could prove to one-shot at least 2 of them so far, within reason. What are your thoughts right now as they go into the second phases of bans?
My thoughts are we are going to be in for a fun time. I don't like how squishy the Wumbologist team is. Sure, they do have a Moo, but I mean, they're against a Jhin who's going to one-shot them. They're going to pop them like a popsicle. Kale and Sejuani. While they are pretty good at killing tanks, it could work out. They're definitely glass cannons, and they're very much playing with fire with the team comp, but. I mean, I've known the Wumbos to want to do that, so I don't see why they would change strategy now. That's for sure.
But they could get tankier with the last 2 picks, because, as you know, Amumu Jungle is quite powerful, and that is most likely what has been picked.
I mean,
so we still just need their mid lane and top lane, in theory.
Having both your top laner and AD carry playing champions like that, I feel is very detrimental, because Ashe isn't a very mobile AD carry. Sure, she does have her Enchanted Crystal Arrow, which helps out, and Vayne is kind of mobile, but she gets destroyed by a lot of top laners, especially the tanks and the bruisers that are powerful right now. So, I mean, sure, she does a good bit of damage into them as well, but I mean, you have to attack them a couple times in order for you to kill them, while they can just CC you and kill you right afterwards. But this is definitely a fairly interesting team comp. I don't think it's impossible for it to work. However, they're going to have to get a lot of catches with that Ashe, I feel, and get some really nice Amumu ults in mixture with Sion in order to actually win the game. While I feel the LP Island comp is just a whole lot easier to pull off, it's a lot more reliable, and you have more options in each and every scenario. but you never know. Things could turn out really well. I have seen both these teams do amazing things here and there, so I'm definitely looking forward to this match. We are going to go ahead and go into intermission really quick while the game does load in, and we wait for the 3-minute timer to get into game 1 of week 2.
But as we see,
Thank you very much and good night.
Early in the morning, right before the break of day, I'm lying here beside you, trying to think of something to say. You're gonna have to leave soon, so I'll give you this heart of mine. we can lay low, where we can get high, where we can run away, we can go today, we can leave the world behind.
Okay, and here we go. We are live into game 2. Well, game 1 of week 2. There is another game being played right now. However, like I said before, we cannot be in 2 places at once. So we will need to settle with just one viewing experience since we checked and Riot's replay is currently not working.
You just gotta love Eric. These with small indie companies, it just really makes something unique about it. But here we have 2 teams that do have the potential to invade if they so wish, which certainly looks like is what they're going to do. With only Amumu being prepared for it, but at least Amumu is somewhat a tank, but he is the jungler, which could prove to be quite an issue if they do engage on Amumu. To have him have a far later camp or entirely steal the camp and set him behind. But no, they are opting just for the safe camp and not any invade to have happen. But we can say our thoughts about what will possibly happen and team winning predictions. As we saw for LP Islands games, my money is going to be on them this game. Unless the Rockets can pull it right on back.
Yeah,
the Wumbos.
Yeah, the Wumbologist. I think the Wumbologists definitely have a chance to be able to pull it back. They can definitely pick someone out really quickly, and they do have a lot of damage on their team. They just don't really have the bulk in a support Scion who does need a little bit of farm to become as tanky as he really could because of the way his ability passive works. But I mean, sure, Relic Shield will be able to get him some tankiness from that, but it won't be able to get him as much as, a top lane Scion would. And Scion still does need gold to operate as a champion. While it, like I said, isn't as much, it is still some, and it is slightly detrimental, but he will do a lot more damage than a lot of other supports, especially in the early game, and his passive will be able to catch a lot of B block guards since he isn't played normally in that role. Well, the fight is breaking out in the bottom lane. Some damage going on to Nutty George, dropping an exhaust. Some damage being traded back onto both sides. Red side does walk away with a slight health advantage after that.
While mid lane has its own fight for trading, which does not go well for Silas at all. Getting the first blood, she's dying in the jungle. Ooh. It is not looking good for Red side right now.
That was
Go
ahead.
Go on.
Okay, that was a really nice ignite from that Diana because Silas, a lot of his trade patterns do involve him getting low health and then healing back up with his E, his W. He would not be able to do that as much with that ignite, especially being dropped as early as it was, cutting that healing as he does come back for lane, forcing a flash. But he definitely wasn't expecting that lack of healing from the ignite early on from that Diana, which definitely did give her that first blood.
Mm-hmm. But we could see a jungle fight breaking out after Sejuani had died to her red buff, which Amumu had stolen. Well, while Silas tries to come up and help out while they try and disengage from that fight. While Vayne got mixed messages there and tried to wanting to go in, but very much has a laning advantage against the Kayle so far. While Diana may die, it's an ignite into Q, and she gets killed.
Drops his own ignite. There you go. Both mid laners no longer have that ability. He holds onto his flash while Diana still didn't have hers from escaping earlier when he initially returned to lane. But yeah, this game is definitely going to heat up to be a bloody one, that's for sure. There is a 400 gold advantage for the blue team, but will it pan out into any real substantial lead for that team?
Yes, but we can probably figure most of that gold loss has been to the mid lanes for both sides now, but mainly the jungle, for missing their camps. As an engage happens in the bottom lane, going straight for the ADC. while Sion can only just attempt to hurt people, forcing a flash and a heal and and a ignite from multiple people, while Sion has his own difficulties now trying to get away, almost dying, just like his ADC.
He will manage to get away, though. That is the important part. Both parties do live. They should recall. Both of them definitely on low HP. Oh, Diana going back in, taking some damage onto that Silas, who doesn't have that much mana, so he will not be able to stay in lane that much longer. If Diana was level 6 right there, she would have an easy kill. But level 6 does happen on this cannon wave if she didn't miss out too much XP from her initial death.
Yes. But we can see Kale's about to hit 6, but she has been severely pressured by Vayne. But once he does hit 6, that'll put them both in an even playing field for range for the most part. But Vayne does deal a lot of damage, and especially this season, she's quite dangerous when played right. She can annihilate a lot of people. But so far, the lanings seem to be mostly in blue side's favor for both pushing to turret and turret platings being gotten.
I mean, there's a CS lead in every position except for bottom lane, and that's only a 7 CS differential. Literally every other role is out farming their counterpart on that blue team, which is leading to a good portion of that gold lead. In fact, most of it, besides the extra gold from First Blood. But that CS gold is really important. People underestimate that heavily.
Yes.
Nautilus maybe looking for a hook, lands it onto Ashe. What was that hitbox, by the way? But they're just getting some damage down, getting medic down to half HP. There is some damage going on to that red side bottom lane, but not enough to really substantiate any real problem there for them. As blue team will pick up the enemy side's blue buff. Diana running into Silas in the jungle, Amumu right behind. Going to land an easy bandage toss. Okay, the bandage toss missing. Moonlight Vigil doing some damage. They find the kill onto Silas with that Sejuani. They will be able to chase that Amumu down. A fight is happening in the bottom lane. They will pick up a double kill down there, as Nautilus will not be able to get the auto attack off just barely to root that Ashe. But Ashe will finally go down with that Sejuani gank, picking up another Dark Harvest stack on that Jhin. George will get finished off, and it was definitely close. I like that both teams were willing to fight like that, and it showed a lot of commitment from that blue team to try to steal that blue buff away. But the goal difference swings slightly into LP Island's favor.
Yes, but that we can both agree that the Ashe bot lane death shouldn't have happened for the most part if she did realize that Sejuani was in the river and on her side, as we see Amumu gets caught out and killed by Jhin while trying to take Dragon.
Back to base by himself. Oh, never mind. Diana wants to be a friend as she goes down and goes back to base with him, as red team will pick up the fire dragon for themselves. And
politely ask it to give it their buff. And
yes.
So he has given it up.
Amumu decides to throw the friendship away and just leave base by himself, crying all the way, like, why won't nobody love me? I mean, Amumu, that's on you. Diana was happy to come back to base with you.
But let's be honest, Diana probably wasn't happy about having to be Amumu's friend, just like most people, for the sad mummy boy. Even if he gets a lot of support from the community. Even if Riot doesn't wish to show it, ever. But we can see bottom lane being aggressive in their push. Top lane having a fight break out with mostly Vayne winning out and almost killing her. She may dive under turret for it while bottom lane continues to hard push out, just like Diana in mid.
The wave being under tower. Kale should know what's up. Going in a little bit too early. Kale still having ultimate, but Vayne... that...
You hate to see it, folks.
You hate to see it. Just a little bit too early for Amumu to be able to take that tower side.
I think we know the crowd's clear hatred now with that Kale taunt.
I mean, that should have been an emote too. Let's be real here.
I mean, I'm pretty sure did flash mastery there, which is an even bigger douche move. Let's be real. As she picks up the second kill on Amumu, who probably should have backed. In all fairness, while bottom lane gets their plating and a more gold in their pockets, while Diana continues to push out the middle lane and jungle, doing jungle things.
Chat off. What? I turned chat off. Chat is literally unchecked, but chat is still showing.
There's just top gap.
Okay, I will recheck it to uncheck it again. Small indie company, by the way.
Small indie company. While Silas gets ganked on, or not ganked on, obliterated in the middle lane by Diana. Yeah, suddenly Diana has become the next jungler, while Hook gets missed, and Jin gets punished for it heavily with that miss, possibly dying, but saved by Nautilus ult. As Nautilus takes the brunt of the force now, almost getting hit by odd hitboxes and almost possibly dying for it, getting exhausted and dying.
The curtains
now Jin maybe
up.
Get killed, but he is safe.
He is definitely safe
as he tries something.
Kill, but Amumu is there. He will.
And a gank is about to happen in the top lane by Sejuani as Vayne ults in desperation, but dies instantly.
Definitely.
You hate to see it happen.
You do hate to see it happen. However, that was a really nice proactive play by Wumbologist blue side trying to get that kill. It was very close. It was a nice dodge by George. I wouldn't say that Nautilus really missed that hook. It was more of a dodge. As they were able to pick up the kill onto that Nautilus, but it just drug out a little bit too long for him surviving in order to really make the play be as effective as it could have been. But it was really well played. They just don't have the damage yet.
Well, we may see something happen in the top side, potentially. Or Silas getting caught out by Diana. We may find out, but she opts to take the safe path, and Silas chooses to back away. While Nautilus gets some warding done in the jungle side for the red team's advantage to know where the jungler is, and they can confirm that currently he is in the top side, so Kale should be taking care right now from her pushing, as Amumu is ready to just hop right on over to get her.
Yeah, I don't know if anything's really going to happen up until maybe some trades in the lanes. However, Dragon is about ready to respawn in 50 seconds. As the fight does break out with their jungler being able to gank that mid lane. Diana overextended a little bit for those tower plates. However, I can't say that I haven't done that in the past. I do it even knowing that's going to happen. I want that tower plate gold. I'll give my life.
We all want that additional. we all want that additional jolt of gold.
Exactly.
Even if it may cost us a lot more in return. As we see Vayne trying to kill the Kale, proving she is too powerful for her currently, potentially. A fight breaks out in the bottom lane with a gank. Amumu trying to go take out Kale, while currently Ashe is in a terrible position, getting caught and killed, making bad decisions. Sion flashing and saving his own life.
Ooh, that was a nice
as Kale continues to be chased by Amumu, getting bandage wrap, ulted too, and killed.
There we go. That's a nice return kill onto that Kale. That was a really, really good condemn by Quaker, being able to knock Kale into the wall. However, Kale getting those kills early on that she did under that tower in top lane really snowballed her ahead, giving her the finished item that, did lead to her being able to kill her. Silas does go over the wall, get some damage on Diana. Diana gets taken down with support from her team over the wall as they manage to pick up the second dragon for themselves, getting them one step closer to that soul point. It looks like it will be a cloud dragon this game, which will be nice for that red team to pick up. Blue team will also benefit fairly nicely from that as well, with very high priority ultimates on both sides.
Mm-hmm. And given the fact that ability haste is no longer capped, since this season has started, it's been quite good to have some a lot of ability haste, actually. Because you can get some ultimates down really far down. As an example to give for the audience, you can get Aurelion Soul ult with 4 Cloud Drakes down to 15 seconds. Basically making it a basic ability that's a slightly long cooldown. So the more you know, while bottom lane gets their turret and trades happen in the top lane.
What the audience is really thinking is who really plays Aurelion Soul. Let's be real here. There's like
Let's be
5
real.
people worldwide.
We all wish he was a better champion, but he
Nautilus-
sadly never will be.
Yeah, Nautilus does get a nice ultimate off onto Ashe. However, Scion, being a true Chad, as he is able to defend that Ashe with a fairly nice placed Q. Nothing really happens that much down there, as neither side takes substantial amounts of damage that they won't be able to potion or lifesteal from. As a fight does happen in the middle lane, Sejuani misses her ultimate. Rob goes back in, gets killed, taken down, gets a nice 3-man ultimate, but doesn't have enough time to be able to get it off. However, Vayne goes in, Kayle ults, so she will not be able to pick up the Kayle. She would have been able to do so, more than likely, without that ultimate. However, she gets shut down as Nautilus did also roam up there. Very nice team play by the LP Island side in order to be able to
And we can agree with the blue side's mistake there. While a fight happens on the bottom side, well, that may result in Jhin getting killed, but no, it'll probably result in the bottom lane getting murdered, especially Ashe getting stunned by Nautilus, and indeed it happens.
Yeah, the
They will
curtains will call.
most likely die.
The curtains
But
will
we
call
can-
and they'll
but-
close for Wumbologist.
But we can agree. The mistake that happened mid lane was just going too hard of an engage. Diana went too far in, Silas dashed away, and she prematurely used her ult, although it did get Silas to use his to capture a ult, and Sejuani to completely miss hers, as we did see. But as we can see, for the current time being, it is going far back into the Reds' favor, both in map pressure and in gold advantage. While Diana tries something, Nautilus gets murdered and murked, while Diana tries for more things. But can we see it pay off in the murder of one of them? I say no, and it indeed is a turnaround, as we can see. As help arrives on the way, but it will probably be too short. But Amumu goes back in for the Kayle.
That's
Sion
nice
ulting
managed
and
toss
getting the
with
Kayle,
Sion ult.
getting the knockup, killing the Kayle.
Scion deserves the shutdown gold from that.
Yep, as we can see, a gank happening top lane. Vayne used her ability to actually go away with her invis, as she does prove to be invisible, but no. She gets ulted by 2 different people as they lose their bottom lane, obtaining more map pressure for the blue side.
But yeah, this game is definitely not out of reach for the Wumbos. There is only a 4k gold difference. With the kill difference between the two teams, you'd think that the gold would be more. The CS differential is really helping out. I mean, that's 30 CS in the top lane. However, Kayle is really fed in terms of kills. The 30 CS in the jungle is a lot of gold, even though Sejuani does have kills. Nautilus does get hit, taken down. Kayle is able to be there in the fight. Yeah, LP Island is just grouping a whole lot more, and that is leading to a lot more pressure and advantage for them on the map. However, Wumbologist isn't really taking it laying down. They are trying to go punch for punch. However, if you take 5 people and take them to a fight, it probably will beat the 4 people. I honestly don't think that they're doing that bad of a job. They've got a lot of really great ideas, and they're landing some nice ultimates and some nice abilities. They're just down people. They are around this Cloud Dragon, which will be helpful, getting them more time to avoid Soul Point. But the more they wait, the more they screw themselves over, as Red Team are getting closer with all 5 of their members to be able to just collapse and win the 5v4. Yeah, they waited way too long.
Yep, but as we see, they will very much take Dragon and kill the people wanting to steal it. Getting killed by Silas's explosion. Silas igniting Amumu. Amumu ulting. Silas getting caught out a bit and getting the shutdown, surprisingly, with their EXP and gold advantage from the red side. While Vayne continues trying to go hard, but will most likely get cut out and die by the Jhin.
That was
who's
really
quite
smart
powerful.
by the Scion. I'm actually really impressed. Scion had the forethought. Instead of running directly at the enemy, he ran in the same direction his Vayne was to be able to take that Nautilus Q and protect Vayne from getting
As we're going to see
instantly
a
down.
important fight happen here. Kale ulting early, but it will be enough to kill the Diana, who was split pushing. If that fight did win out in Diana's favor, someone would have been forced to back, or Silas would have been forced to try and kill her and stop the inhib push that would have happened.
Diana wouldn't have.
But it does continue to go into Red Side's favor with this matchup, getting a bigger and bigger snowball and lead.
Yeah, Diana wouldn't have had the minion wave. Her minion wave was fairly low after taking that top tier 2. She might have gotten some damage onto that inhib tower, but I don't think she would have had enough time to really take that tower down unless LP Island weren't looking at their mini-maps at all. Or like removed it from the screen. I mean, there are some people who do crop it out off their screen, but I don't think LP Island would do that.
As we can tell, they do have a bit more of a vision advantage to places. So they are very much paying attention to the map at all times and making sure that map is filled with their vision.
Hey, they're just in the
As
festive
only-
spirit. They want it lit up like a Christmas tree, you know?
Yep. As we can tell, only the Scion has Sweeper, so only he's able to remove vision if and when he chooses to use it. To just roam around, or for just Dragon, which is usually what people do. But in higher plays, it may be used, just more frequently whenever it's up. But we can see mid turret is getting advanced on, while the top lane turret is soon to be threatened for a backdooring that may or may not happen.
If you were
As you'll
Wumbologist,
see.
you had to force this. You had to force the issue right here. Kale has TP. She has TPing in. However, that was your only opportunity. Maybe not under tower, but force them to commit resources. As the fight does break out, they do just outspat the blue team. It was really close. They managed to take down 2 of the members as Jhin does die right when the fight ends. But Silas lives on no HP. Sejuani has half HP. Kale wasn't even touched because she did TP in from the flank. However, that was just really nice shot calling, really nice coordination. Kale TP'd instantly without hesitation and was able to join the fight. I do think the Wumbos needed to fight that. Maybe not necessarily under the tower. They could have played it a little bit slower there, I think. However, they would have just kept falling behind if they wouldn't have attempted anything. So I respect the effort.
Indeed. And you gotta love moments when your brain just ceases to function of remembering what you wanted to tell and say out, as only now I remember it because thank you, biology. But now I've noticed this season that anti-heal is a really big thing that's needed now, seemingly, from a lot of sources. As we saw from the Silas, living with no HP and just going straight back up with his W there. Kale having her own healing form, and supposedly Jhin or more having their own in terms of their runes they have, or the items they've built.
If you're blue team, you really would have wanted some form of grievous wounds at this point of the game, simply because of Silas, especially as strong as he is. However, there is a fight breaking out. A nice condemn onto Silas, gets him chunked down, but will he fall as George is popping them some damage? However, it will not be enough. The blue team is just too tanky. They will not die. They do get some... never mind. A nice flank from Diana is able to get them back into the game. However, They do need to take this time to push. They've got a wave bottom lane. They should run instantly there and push that tier 2 tower. George
But we
does get
can't.
down there.
But we can see, with that team fight having had happened, we can certainly say that Kale is a integral part to their team fighting power. Without her, they seem to just fall one by one by one, with no casualties from blue side without her being there. With her invincibility. As we can see, a fight about to break out between Ash and Kale. At least a very scaredy poke one, as her red ward money has gone to waste. You hate to see it happen, folks. But then again, Kale deserves it. Let's be real. As you see, the top lane is auto-pushing currently, and Jin is going to deal with that, because that is a huge issue if they let it to just keep and continuing to happen.
So
It could prove to be a major issue.
So a plot twist happened. My chat decided to turn itself back on. So you know what? It stays on for the rest of this game. I turned it off once. Chat was working. Turned it off. Turned it on to turn it off again. Now it's back. It's the ghost of chat's past. So. Oh, and
Funny
that's Dash Arrow breaking out. Nautilus will get chunked down, but he manages to get the anchor away to safety. They will have a wave in this mid lane right here to continue the push if they would want to. That tower is very low. They should just take it and leave, not get flanked upon. Ranged champions just take it. I don't think staying is good here. Quaker does manage to get the kill onto the Nautilus. However, if Kale and Sejuani came in from the sides, that would have been very scary. Blue team was very clumped up, and they would have just gotten Wombo comboed down. Especially with Silas having that Diana ultimate.
Indeed. But, funny enough, as we have a calm for a bit, for my chat, it only happens when I hit enter and then, hit enter to stop chatting. And then it works for a bit, and then just kind of turns off for a while.
Down at the bottom, the interface visibility. Oh, Kale is hitting the Scion. He takes some damage, but he doesn't really care about that. He'll probably just regen it back up. Red team is on that dragon point, so in that 3 minutes time, they will want to go ahead and try to contest that Cloud Dragon. Cloud Soul will be huge. Kale giving a movement speed, Sejuani giving a movement speed, Silas with really any of those ultimates giving a movement speed. Jin doesn't benefit from it outside of the cooldown. Nautilus getting it is fairly okay. It doesn't really change the way he plays though. But it is nice on a lot of those champions, the Soul is at least.
Yeah. And while for the blue side, if they can manage to, if this game lasts long enough, 2-4 souls, a lot of them benefit from Cloud Soul quite a lot. Especially on their side, Vayne, Diana, Amumu to a degree, even if he does root them. Ash can make a quick runaway with her ult if she stuns someone. But yeah. It is quite an integral game point right now if that Cloud Drake has been gotten out. But we have seen Blue Team has been playing better and better against LP Island, disregarding what happened in week 1 where they got destroyed by them in both their matches.
So if I was LP Island and I was in this game, I would stop. Oh, an Ash Arrow does come down. Oh shit, guys! Sorry, I had to dodge that in real life. No, I'm joking. That's a nice. That's a nice Diana ult bringing them in. They do manage to get the kill onto Jin. A nice Amumu ultimate. Will they be able to kill Nautilus too? Yes, they will. Kale ult doesn't do much. Besides keep her alive. Their tanks get taken down. Will this be a blue team victory? Will they be able to turn this game around? They have a minion wave. They have all 5 members here. Will they be able to push into this base? There's only 2 defending members on LP Island alive. Will this be turned into a game 1 win for the Wumbologists?
And taking back the two losses they had against them in week 1, I think so. This could be very much the game end. Kale falls, Silas about to go down, having to Zanya's, but Vayne going back in. She is not scared, but she should have been. As As Silas almost died there as two of them respawn back. But Cloud Dragon is about to come back up soon. They have changed out their wards to be far more sight away from them, at least for the Jin.
As tragic as that was for LP Island and as amazing as that was for Wumbologist, Red Team does still have that gold advantage. The objectives are spawning. Blue Team will have to back and be down 2 members. So Red Team will get to the neutral objective they want to contest first. Will they choose Baron or will they choose Dragon? They choose neither and let the Wumbologist get the Dragon to be able to contest the Baron at a later date. They'll take a rain check and take a fight with it too.
And as we've seen, that rain check will most certainly be their downfall, possibly again, as from what we saw from the last team fight. I am stumbling just over my words repeatedly as to just the many surprises that have just happened this matchup. It went from blue side having a little bit of an advantage, but still in advantage, to red side decimating them for a good chunk of the match, and now blue side is just bringing it back. Hard fought as Vayne is about to get hard cut out, getting ulted and stunned, immediately getting killed. That's a big loss in damage for the blue side, especially with Vayne's true damage against 2 of their tanks, as they now have to contest Baron with a team disadvantage now.
Okay, they are fighting 4v5. However, this fight is still winnable. That's a nice Amumu ultimate. A nice Diana ultimate. Holy shit, picking up a triple kill. George does fall by Sejuani. However, George does get a pentakill. Quadra kill. Will he get the penta? Holy moly. Honestly, that Baron shouldn't even matter. You should just push mid. Sejuani's the only one alive. Will Diana be able to... Will they end the game?
It should be a game end, but they're really wanting Baron. They're just really wanting Baron to, I think, just style on them at this point, because currently the mid lane is just auto-pushing the Supermans into their turret, getting it hurt, while Sejuani has the pressure of both Baron to deal with and the base getting just currently destroyed by supers. As only now Nautilus respawn, Silas about to respawn, Sejuani far too late and getting murdered in response, losing yet another one of their tanks.
That was an interesting interaction. I mean, we were just going over the wall. Sejuani just getting knocked into the wall. Thankfully, Blue
I mean, she does have her own way over the wall.
Yeah.
I don't know why she didn't choose to do that instead. It's far more immediate, and you can act directly out of it.
Well, also, you've got to keep in mind that you can blast cone over and then Q back over the wall if they don't stun you. So that way you have an escape out, right?
But they have multiple ways to either stun or knock up you. It's far better to just make them reject getting the Baron in its entirety than letting them just have it and killing you in response to trying, steal it and getting out safely.
I mean, you can do it fairly quickly. You can do both fairly quickly. That being said, it is very nice for the blue team to be able to have picked up that dragon for themselves. They are going to be able to push into this mid base. They should use this pressure in a side wave, especially with how big red sideways are going to be getting. Both those are going to become a real problem here for the blue team here eventually if they decide to just continue A-ramming in the mid lane. But the game could end here. They only have 1 Nexus Tower remaining.
Yeah.
Silas does choose a move.
As you see, currently they're trying to play around the one... But they are trying to play around the one turn they still have, being extra careful of the power they know blue team has now.
Silas does choose that Amumu ultimate, which is going to be potentially huge. If he gets in there and chain tosses himself in there and pretends to be Amumu for a second, that's huge.
Minus the crying, although
Yes.
he probably still cries internally.
If I was on LP Island, I would be crying right now, especially with the lead that we had initially. But that chain does just barely miss. Nautilus goes in, lands the hook onto a high priority target. He does get that chain toss in. A nice Amumu ultimate from the Silas. However, will the blue team be able to make it out? That's a decent Kale ultimate, but uh, I think this is game. I don't think Jin's going to be able to kill the two tanky members by himself, especially since he is lethality Jin. I think if I was blue team, I would just take the inhibitor and use the minion waves to our advantage. But they do decide to back off, going to opt into the Cloud Drake instead, taking the safe call as that will be spawning in 15 seconds. I see someone in chat saying that they are thinking that this might be a 55-minute game. I was disagreeing. However, seeing this game still going on,
They could have entirely
55-minute game.
Yeah, they could have entirely just ended it earlier, but no, they wanted to style on the Baron. You just have to respect that, even if it was a terrible, terrible call. Because Sejuani, yeah, she was there. She would have been forced to defend multiple turrets and possibly die in the process. And as we saw from the Baron play, even if they do take Dragon, for even more ultimate cooldown reduction, threatening Soul now. But we have seen from... If Sejuani did choose to defend, and they did try and go for a game end, she probably would have just died immediately, seeing what happened in Baron Pit when it did.
Both teams opting for the ARAM, but they all picked their champions. Ooh, unfortunate. They're going for the APAM. Diana was split pushing top lane, however, she is walking in the jungle all by herself. She is going to walk on top of a ward. The enemy team does know that she is there. She's going to get autoed once. Will she be able to get out of there? No, she'll blast going right onto them. Get a nice 4-man ultimate. Forcing Kale's ultimate, but she does get taken down before it can pop any members of LP Island. But Silas now Scion ults in, takes half of George's HP. George does fall. Sejuani does get a ultimate off onto the fleeing Vayne. They just get to run these two tanks down, and Scion ults out of there. He turns into a Transformers. He's like Optimus Prime rolling out.
And as you see, with the takeout of 3 of their most high priority in that matchup, just one by one, was a really great play by them and a really bad one by blue side, because they really need to stay grouped up in just a ball. While we notice the top lane is just auto-pushing to their base, forcing Silas to back out of there entirely, while a team fight happens in the middle lane, as much of a team there is left, trying to stop anything they have as they get the inhib now, forcing now the minions to choose whether or not who auto pushes, depending on which wave is bigger.
Crystal Arrow, it does not connect against anyone. Jin does see it coming with the minion wave and is able to dodge out of it. Scion does ult. Choo motherfucker, he's got that ult cooldown reduction. He does flash away, getting to safety. Diana flashes in, lands the ult, kills Jin. Will she be able to find Nautilus as well? Scion is there to back him up. Ashe does get the slow. Okay, they do pick up 2 members. 3 members on LP Island remain.
This may be a Baron play. This may entirely be a Baron play spawning soon. But then again, they may actually want to end it this time, as 2 of their members are dead, leaving only 1 tank, Silas, and Kale with her ulti yet again back. But they do seem like they want to actually end the game this time, or for some reason just take out a turret. This is quite an odd play, but it is one that does work out in their favor. So, stealing yet again the Mumu ult, but can he redeem himself for last time of missing his E? Let's find out, as a team fight does indeed happen. Silas missing his E yet again, not redeeming. Diana ulting, doing some good damage, but forcing Kale to ult. Mumu ulting, Silas just immediately falling, exhaust on Sejuani. The rest of the team trying to come in and do things. Vayne destroying them, but their turret is open. Scion beating on their Nexus that they now have to save as they do get the ace. But now they are entirely open for a backdoor.
I think taking the inhibitor was fine. I think taking the Nexus was fine if you had your like someone distracting and just your high damage targets hitting the tower and then the nexus and taking it down, since it would have been very quick to do. However, LP Island is now able to take their 2 remaining members and push. They're not going to be able to do much. I don't think this Baron will fall, except it is a Kale and a Jin, so I don't know if they're going to be able to do it. But it is definitely a close game. It looks like they will not. Wumbolos will be respawned by the time the rest of LP Island does too. So it will just be a reset game, as these 2 members are just able to farm the jungle. And Cloud Dragon and, Soul Point even, and Baron Nashor will be an objective, but the game end will be on the table for the Wumbos because they did decide to take that top inhibitor.
And that is removing a key player right now, while Diana gets jumped upon, removing their key player. Amumu going in, but having to run back out. They do not have the rest of their team. Amumu ulting, Silas ulting with Scion there, as now Vayne has come in to save the day, removing one of their tanks. She getting deleted. Scion gonna get deleted now. And them doing a lot of damage in return, and they're going to choose to game end it instead. This is probably going to be a 41 or 42 minute game victory, as much as it looks like a 55-minute one at points, as this will indeed be the game end, as this commentator will need to get water if a game like this is going to happen yet again, as they're choosing to just go for the murder.
Okay, that is game 1 ended. We are going to go to a quick intermission now while we do go ahead and get the lobby created and formed for the second game. Thank you for watching. We'll be back with game 2 here in a minute.